We are the I.S.U.P.K of the 1 West 125th Street in New York under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. I'm Priest Officer Yakad, this is Priest Officer Barrier. All right, and today today's Sabbath service. What? Sir?
SHALAM to Israel.
See, I'm mad jump, the upper dome is going to rise and face the east. Sar, which means the turn. And what's the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew? Amanawa, Shamayim, Badash, Yah, Shamkat, Yahweh, Malakaka, Tizaka, Yah, Isha, Baratasa, Sawa, Yah, Shamayim, Nathan, Alawa, Lakan, Ha, Yawam, Salakno, 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 Wala'an, Abinanamu, Wadasaiwam, Ball, Abashino, Ayan, Right, Yah, Lakar, Amalakwa, Allah, Tapara,
See the Lord's Prayer in English. Our
Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, power and the glory, forever. So be it.
You can say Hakka and power, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Yahushua, Natanawa, Hakka, Rafa'a, Hakka, Hakka, Hakka is the right, Hakka, Hakoyim, Yamakayim, Hakka, Irakawa, Allah, Yagarishun, Hashem, Yahushua, Yawala.
Say the power in English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power. Power to heal all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirit, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
We say the blessings. Barakata Yahweh, Wa Yahushua, Wa Maka'al, Wa Alahayim, Matazabi. Alawapyahana, Alawapya, Masarani, Akazanian, Akayan, Wahayati, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Tawana.
See the blessings in English. Bless you, Yahweh. And
Yahushai,
and Michael, and the angel, commanding general, the general, captain, officer, troopers, and the sister, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
We're going to say, bless Israel, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Barakanawa, Wayasha'al, Wahabiyah, Safari, Barak, Rapar, Magan, Bahashem, Yahushua, Wa'aman. Yahweh,
Lord, in the name of Yahushua, bless us, and Israel, and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Psalm 121, Ibn Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Harayan, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Nayam, Yahweh, Isha, Shamayam, Waharataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Ragaraka, Ayanawam, Shamarka, Anna, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan,
Shalom,
Yasha'al,
Yasha'al,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Tizalka,
Tizalka,
Aliyah,
Aliyah,
Yamyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yawama,
Yamya,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Bayara,
Balayala,
Bayala,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Yashamarka,
Shamarka,
Kaira,
Kaira,
Yashama,
Yashama,
Nashpaka,
An, Ashmaka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Yashama,
Yashama,
Tazahaka,
Tazahaka,
Wawaka,
Wawaka,
Mayata,
Mata,
Wai,
Wai,
Iwala.
I will. See Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes.
I will lift up my eyes
unto the hills.
unto the hills.
From whence cometh my
From
help?
whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Most
My help
High,
cometh from the Most High,
which made heaven and
which
earth.
made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot
He will not suffer thy foot
to be moved.
to be moved.
He that keepeth
He that keepeth
thee will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold, he that keepeth
He
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Most High is thy
The
keeper.
Most High is thy keeper.
The Most High is thy
The
shield
Most High is thy shade
upon thy right
upon
hand.
thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite
Thou
thee
shalt
by
not smite
day,
thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Most High shall preserve
The
thee
Most High shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Most High shall preserve thy going
The Most
out
High shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. You see the same Psalm in Trini Ibu, Alahayim, Al Damayalaka, Al Taparash, Al Tashakwa, Al Kayahanna, Oyamaka, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, I Amaka, Yara Yawa, Sawada, Wayata, Yaitazawa, Aitazabawanka, Amara, Lakawa, Wanakadayam, Magawiya, Wala'a, Yazaka, Shamyasha'al, Iwada, Kaya, Aitazawa, Laba, Yakarwa, Ayaka, Maria, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Adawan, Wayashamai Alayam, Mawa'ala, Wahabarayim, Gibal, Wahaimawan, Wahaimala, Kalasha, Aimeshabia, Tazawo, Gam Ashawo, Nalawa, Haimam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Namanyalawa, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamania, Kasaya Sabra, Hayawa, Daman, La Adam, Shayatamwa, Nadaya Mawa, Kaira, Wakazaba, Wakata Zamanai, Kal Nasya Kamwa, right? Asha, Amaro, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Af, Nawa, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Gagala, Kapash, Napanya Rawaka, Kaash, Tabaira, Yaira, Wakalahala, Talahat, Harayam, Kan, Taradakma, Basaraika, Awasa, Wapatka, Tabahala, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabahalwa, Aidia, Wayapaparo, Wayabaro, Wayadailo, Kayata, Shamka, Yahawa, Labaka, Ailawan, Alkaha, Maratisa. This is the I.S.U.P.K curses. Bless you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now, the evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school, the evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to come into thy sanctuary. Set evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court systems, the prison systems, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Quasi-Comitazi, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way, or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth, and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. It is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, through the whole world. Cause them to shake as I come. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Sir? Which means to be seated. Today we continue reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 3 and from verse 20. Book of Numbers, chapter 3 and verse 20. Wabanya Marakwara Salake. Wabanya Mara Raya Lamashapath Khatham Makalaya Wamawa Shia Ahal Allah Ham Mashapakaf Halawa Salake Alawa Waya Labayaf Abatham, verse 21. Lagara Shawan, Lagarashan, Mashapa Kata, Halabanya, Wamashapaf Salakia, Washapa Kata, Hashamaaya, Allah, Ham, Mashapaf Salakia, Mashapa Kata, Hagara Shanaya, verse 22. Excuse me. Pokwade Yaham, Bamasapa, Ka, Zakar, Maban, Kadash, Bama Aila, Pokwade Yaham, Shaba Aitha, Alawapiam, Wakamash, Samawat, verse 23, Mapathka, Hagara Shaniya, Akaraya, Hamashakan, Yakanawa, verse 24, Wanashaya'a, Bayath, Abba, Lagarasha, Salakia, Lagarasha Niya, Aliyasa, Ban, Allah, verse 25, Wanasha Marath, Banya, Garawa, Gara Shanawan, Ba'ahal, Mawa'aida, Hamashakan, Waha'a, Wa'a, Salakia, Waha'ala, Makasahawa, Wamasaka, Patka, Ahal, Mawa'aida, verse 26, Wakola'aya, Hakataza, Wa'athar, Masaka, Patka, Hakatazara, Ashar, Al Hamashakan, Wa'al, Hamazabak, Salakia, Sabayab, Wa'athar, Mayata Yawa, Lakal, Ibadatawa. What?
The book of Numbers 3 and verse 20. And the sons of Merari by their families, Mili and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. Of Gershon was the family of the Libnites, and the family of the Shimtites. These are the families of the Gershonites. Those that were numbered of them according to the number of all the males from a month old and upwards, even those that were numbered of them were 7,500. The families shall pitch behind the tabernacle westward, and the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites shall be I.S.U.P.K, the son of Leel, and the charge of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation shall be the tabernacle, and the tent, the covering thereof, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the hangings of the curtain for of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and the cords of it, for all the service thereof. And of Kohath was the family of the Amorites, and the family of the Eharites, and of the Hebronites, and the family of Uzzielites. These are the families of.
Slack,
Oh,
so again, we just doing a backdrop of what the children of Israel in terms of the numbering, right? So this is just a continuation, right? And this was just giving a drawback or a drop down of the sons of Levi and their lineage, and who are the men of these families, right? And what who are the heads of these families who were in Goshen. That was the place where in Egypt where the nation of Israel was nourished by their brother Joseph while in the time that they were there. Right, so this was just getting a little backdrop in terms of what it is. What I think with you?
no.
So we'll continue the reading. The book of Numbers, chapter 3 and verse 27. Wala Kohath, Mashaphathka, Ha'ai Ramya, Mashapath Kata, Hazatazah Hariya, Mashapath Kata, Haka Barayanya, Mawasha Pathkata, Isaiah Allah, Alaya, Allah, Ham, Mashapakata, Hakwa Hakwa Hataya, verse 28. Bamasapa, Kal, Zakah, Mabaya, Kadash, Mawaila, Shamanathan, Shalakia, Shamanath, Alawapiam, Washasha, Mawath, Masharaya, Mashamara, Akwadash, verse 29, Mashapatka, Banya, Kwahath, Yakanawa, Al, Yaraka, Amashakan, Tayaman, verse 30, Wanashaya, Bayath, Ab, Lamashapathka, Akwahathaya, Alayat Pan, Ban, Isaiah Allah, verse 31, Wa Manasha Ratham, Aharan, Wahashalash Kana, Salakia, Wahashalash Salakia, Wahasha Lakam, Mahama Nara, Wahama Zabak, Wakalaya, Hakodash, Ashar, Yasharathwa, Aha, Salakia Baham, Wahama Saka, Wakal, Ibadath Thetwa, verse 32, Wanashaya, Nashaya Aya, Halawaya, Ala-Isa, Ban, Aharan, Akahan, Fakwad Dath, Shamaraya, Mashamara, Akadash. Verse 33, La Marariya, Mashapa Kata, Hamakalia, Washapakata, Hamawana Shalakia, Hamawa Shaya, Ahal Alaha, Ham, Mashapakata, Marariya.
The book of Numbers 3 and verse 27. And of GEN.YAHANNA was the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Hebronites, and the family of the Uzzielites. These are the families of the Kohanites. In the number of all the males from a month old and upwards were 8,600, keeping the charge of the sanctuary. The families of the sons of Kohanite shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle southward, and the chief of the house of Kohanites shall be Isupk, the son of Uzziel, and their charge shall be the ark and the table and the candlestick and the altars and the vessels of the sanctuary wherewith they minister, and the hanging and all the service thereof. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and have the oversight of them that keep the charge of the sanctuary. Of Merari was the family of the Maletites, and the family of Mushites. These are the families of Merari.
All right. So again, this is just going down the list of the genealogy and really showing where the responsibilities for different aspects of the care of the tabernacle of the temple is being done. So this is showing the different families within the tribes of Levi who is responsible for what and to take care of these different parts. Right. So in verse 30, right? They say, and the chief of the house of the father of the families of the Kohathites shall be Elizaphan, the son of Uzziel, right? And their charge shall be the ark and the table and the candlesticks and the altars and the vessels of the sanctuary wherein with the minister, and the hanging and all the service thereof. Right? So there were different aspects of taking care of the temple. Some was in terms of slaughtering animals, like these was in terms of taking care of the ark. Some of the others would be like cleaning and breaking down the tabernacle, carrying it, loading it up. The Levites were responsible for every single thing at that time in relation to the temple, and no other tribe was supposed to interfere with that. What are you saying?
Yeah, basically, as we see, the service over everybody that was basically in the temple was handed down to Elzar, the son of Aaron, the priest, who we'll see later on in the story would be the one that would take over after Aaron, after the sin against the Lord. He would take over the reins after his father. So basically, that is it.
As we continue reading, the book of Numbers, chapter 3 and verse 34. Wakokwade yahum, bamasapa, ka, zakar, maban, wakadash, wamaila, shashat, alawapyam, wa amatayam, verse 35. Wana shayar, bayat, abba, lama shapaka, maraya, tazawa ra'ala, ban, ba'aya khayal, al, yarakan, amashakan, yakanawa, tazapana, verse 36. Wapakwada, masharata, banya, maraya, kwa rashaya, amashakan, wabaya kayawa, wa madayawa, wa adanaya, wa kalyawa, wa ba'aida thawa, verse 37. Wa akataza, sapaya, salakia, zabayab, wa adanayahum, wa yatadatam, wa maya tarayahum, verse 38. Wa haka mayan salakia, wa ha kanayam, labanya, hama shakan, kwadama, labanya, salake, lapanya, ahal, mawaaida, mazaraha, masha, wa aran, wa banyawa, masharayam, masha marat, amakwadash, lamasha marat, banya yashala, wa hazar, Aquarab, Yawama, verse 39. Kal, Pakwa, Wadaya, Alawayam, Ashar, Pakwad, Masha, wa Aram, Al, Payab, Yahawa, Lamashapa, Katham, Kal, Zakar, Maban, Kadash, wa Ma'ila, Shanayam, wa Rayam, La Salaki Allah, verse 40. Wa Ya'ama, Yahawa, Allah, Masha, Pakwad, Ka, Baka, Zaka, Labanya, Yasha'ala, Maban, Kadash, wa Ma'ila, wa Sha'a, Af, Ma Sapa, Ma Shapa, Salakia, Shamathon.
The book of Numbers.
Oh, so like yes, one more. Right? Let me see. No, so like that's it.
The book of Numbers 3 and verse 34. And those that were numbered of them, according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward, were 6,200. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of Merari was Zuriel, the son of Ehalel. These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward, and under the custom and charge of the sons of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof, and all the vessels thereof, and all that serveth thereto, and the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. But those that encamp before the tabernacle towards the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary, for the charge of the children of Israel. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. All that were numbered of the Levites, which Moses and Aaron numbered at the commandment of the Most High, throughout their families, all the males from a month old and upward were 20 and 2,000. And the Most High said unto Moses, number all the firstborn, the males of the children of Israel from a month old, and take the number of their names.
Again, so once more, just showing the responsibilities of the men that are in the camp in terms of the aspects of the Levites, and it's really going to give them each group or each family certain type of responsibilities, and those responsibilities would help the running of the temple very smooth. And because of this now, around the camp or around the tabernacle, these families were separated in different areas, different parts of the tabernacle, so they would be close by if anything is needed, and that they could be able to service and do the work for the Lord at that time. Okay, what are anything? No. As we continue the reading, the book of Leviticus chapter 3 and verse 41. Walapakath at Alawayam, Layar, Aniyar, Yahweh, Takath, Kal, Bakar, Babanaya, Yash'ala, Wa'atar, Bahamath, Af, Kal, Bakawa, Yash'ala, verse 43. Salakia. Verse 43. Waya Haya, Kal, Bakawa, Zakat, Bamasapa, Shamath, Maban, Hadash, Wama Aila, La Pakwa de Yahum, Shanayam, Wa Ai Shanarayu, Alap, Shalasha, Wa Marathon, Salakia, Wa Ma'athayim, verse 44. Wayadaba, Yahweh, Mashah, La'amah, verse 45. Kwaka, Af, Hala, Wayam, Takaf, Kal, Bakawo, Babanaya, Yash'al, Wa'af, Bahamath, Hala, Wayam, Takata, Bahamatham, Wahayawa, La'a, Mabakawa, Banya, Yash'al, verse 47. Walaka, Quath, Kamashath, Shawalayam, Lagala, Galaf, Bashakwal, Akwadash, Thakwaka, Aisharayan, Gara, Hashakwal. That's it.
41. And thou take the Levites for me. I am the Most High. Instead of all the firstborns among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Israel. And Moses numbered as the Most High commanded him all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and all the firstborn males by the number of names from a month old and upward, and those that were numbered of them were 20 and 2,203 score and 13. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of the cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am the Most High. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 203 score and 13 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites, thou shalt even take 5 shekels apiece by the whole after the shekel of the sanctuary shall thou take them. The shekel is 20 re ra rirash.
That's right.
Yeah.
So again, this is really dealing with the families and really the delegation of service of these families and how Moses and Aaron should go about it in dealing with the family of the Levites and really dealing with how it's supposed to be done. So for example, um, verse 42 says, and those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari throughout their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, everyone that entereth into the service for the work of in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them after their families, were 3,200. Right? These be those that were numbered of the families and the sons of Merari, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. So these men were used from that age, from age 30, from age 35, right? Yeah, from that age, from 30 years old, sorry, from 30 even to 50. So within that range, after you grow up and you come up as a young man, you have to put in that time into the service of the Most High. So from age 30 to 50, right, that 20-year period, you would have that time and that service in dealing with, whatever um, um, work you were given as a Levite for each family, whether it be taking care of the stuff in the temple or in the outside or dealing with whatever the families would have to deal with. So I don't know if you had to add anything. You want to add anything?
Yeah. Basically, that's showing the structure of the Most High, and as I see that the men of the Levites basically took up service. All through the scriptures, you would see is men that take in the service of the Lord. What in today's world you would see in the Christian church, they would be using women both to teach, saying, well, they're doing the service of the Lord, even using women on the front line, having them out on the streets. So, right through all the scriptures, if you follow the scriptures on them, you would see that the correct order that the Lord basically set up, as opposed to how the world is being run today.
Absolutely. So I continue reading in the book of Numbers chapter 3 and verse 48. Wanatata akasa la Aran wa la Banyawo padawayaya pa Aidayam Baham, verse 49. Wayakwaka Masha Kasa Apaya Wam Ma'atha Aidayam Salakia Ai the Payam Ai Aya Padawayaya Halawaya Yama, verse 50. Mata Ba Salakia Ba Bakawo Banya Yash'ala Lakoa Akasa Kamash wa Shashayam wa Shalai Ma'atawa wa Allah La Bashakwal Put Hap 1 Waya Tan Masha'af Kasap Hapadayam La Aran Wala Banyawa Al Baya Yahawa Ka Asha Tazawa Yahawa Tamasha. Numbers chapter 4 and verse 1. Wayadaba Banya. So what's like a Wayadaba Yahweh Allah Masha wa Allah Aharan Lama verse 2. Nasha'a Af Ra'awa. So like a wa Hatta Mato wa Manya Lawaya. So like a Lawaya Lamasha Pakatham Labaya Tabatam verse 3. Maban Shalashim Manasha Salake Shana wa Ma'aila wa Daya Salake wa Aida Ban Kamashyam Shana Kal Ba'a Latazaba'a La'ai Shanawa Lama Akal Ba'ahal Mawa'aida verse 4. Za'ata Ba Salakia Aibadaf Banya Fahath Ba'ahal Mawa'aida Kodash HaKodashia verse 5. Waba'a Aran Wabanyawa Banasa'ai Hamakan Wahara Salakia Wa Hawo Dawa Af Harakat Hamasa Wakasawa Baha Af Nara Aida
The book 3 and verse 48. And thou shalt give the money wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons. And Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them, that was redeemed by the Levites of the firstborn of the children of Israel, took he the money, 1,365 shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons according to the word of the Most High. And the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 4.
Up to verse 3. And I read that a little extra.
Okay.
So I think it's from 49. Supposed to be 7.
I think it finished at 3, but it went up to 5.
Okay. It's supposed to be up to 3. Right? So again, this talking about, just look at the service of, the men in the Lord. And when you go into chapter 4, it really, again, talking to the sons of Levi, continuing the same process of numbering those men and the kind of work that they would do and what age they would enter into the service of the Lord from age 30, between age 30 to 50, when you're fit and you're strong enough to do the service and the work of the Lord. You understand? And this was an important factor in dealing with all this stuff in the tabernacle because there was a lot of work to be done. And you had to be very fit and very able and sound mind and mature in going into the work of the Lord. And so we'll continue to be reading in the book of Numbers chapter 4 and verse 4. Let's read over. Za'ata, Ibadah, Banya, Pahath, Ba'ahal, Mawa'ida, Kodash, HaKodashim was 5, Waba'a, Aharan, Wabanyawa, Banasa'ai, Amakan, Wahawa, Radawa, Parakath, Hamasak, Wakasawa, Baha, Aran, Aida was 6. Wanatanawa, Ailayawa, Kasawaya, Iwo, Takash, Waparashawa, Bagad, Kaliyawa, Kaliyala, Takala, Ma'ila, Washamawa, Badiyawa, Wa'ila, Shalakan, Salakia, Panayam, Ya Parawash, Salakia, Yapa, Rashawa, Bagad, Tagalaf, Wanata Nawa, Alia, Aparath, Wa'ata, Akapath, Wa'ata, Hamana, Hoyath, Wa'ata, Kwashawath, Anasaka, Lakam, Hatamayad, Ayawa, Yahayaha, verse 8. Wapa Rashawa, Aliyaham, Bagad, Tawala Aita, Shanaya, Wakasawa, Atawa, Bamakasa, Iwo, Takasha, Washamawa, Badayawa, verse 9. Walakwa Kawa, Bagada, Takalaf, Wakasawa, Ma Narath, Awo, Wa'ata, Anarath Yaha, Wa'ata, Malakwa Kaya, Wa'ata, Makata Taya, Wa'ata, Kaliya, Shamana, Asha, Ya Sharathwa, Aham, verse 10. Wanatan nawa a wa ata kal Yaha, Allah, Makasa, I.W.O. Takash, Wanatan Nawa, I'm a what? That's it.
The book of Numbers 4 and verse 4. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. And when the camp setteth forward, Aaron shall come, and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of testimony with it, and shall put thereon the covering of badger's skin, and shall spread over it a cloth woolly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof, and upon the table of shewbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and covers to cover with whole, and the continual bread shall be thereof. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of badger's skin, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlesticks of the lighting, and his lamps, and his tongues, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they ministered unto it. And they shall put it, and all the vessels thereof, within a covering of badger's skin, and shall put it upon a bar, and upon the golden altar. They shall spread a cloth of
So again, this entire, and I should say these chapter of 3 and 4 that's really going into and really bringing out, what these brothers had to do in this service. So there were specific things that each family had to do, and that was their job. For their generation, they had these men were chosen to deal with all these things, right? So even when you look at verse 4, they say, "This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. And when the camp setteth forth," which means when they break in the camp to move, "Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and the cover of the ark of testimony of it." So only some of the families, some of the Levites had permission to do those things. The most holy things, only Aaron's sons were supposed to take care of those things or touch it, right? And verse 6 says, "And shall put thereon the covering of badger's skin, and spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof." So there were staves that were used to help carry, especially things like the ark and all the other things that were heavy at the time. So they would use those staffs as leverage or to be able to secure it in place. You want to add anything?
Yeah, so basically, as we see, like the scriptures say, the things are for learning. The work of the service of the Lord always been men, Israelite men, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Nothing has not changed. The only thing the doctrine of this earth does push that anybody could teach these scriptures on them. Just the other day I was sitting down and eating some chicken, and an Elamite from Universal Church come down and trying to talk to me to get me to come into the church, telling about Psalm 23. So I had a run sheet, So we people had to take that same stance in the scriptures. Only the men of the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, and we iterate men, blacks, Hispanics, or Native Indians could tell you anything about these scriptures on them, and not women or women of the other nations on them.
Same Christ. And just to be able to, for us to be able to understand, we really had to be able to be men of the Lord, to do the will of the Most High. You understand, especially when it comes to women, in terms of teaching men. Women are not supposed to teach men these scriptures, right? Only the priests and prophets of the Lord, only Israelite men, more specific, right? The men of the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA is authorized to teach these scriptures and have the authority to teach these scriptures. Right? So let us continue the scriptures in the book of Numbers chapter 4 and verse 11. For Ilah, Mazabak, Hazahab, Yaparashawa, Bagad, Takalaf, Wakasawa, Atawa, Bamakasa, I.W.A., Takash, Salakia, Washamawa, Af, Badayawa, verse 12, Walakwakawa, Af, Kal, Kalaya, Sharaf, Ashar, Yasharathwa, Bama, Badash, Wana Tanawa, Allah, Bagad, Ta Kalaf, Wa Kasawa, Awatham, Bamakasa, I.W.A., Takash, Wana Tanawa, Hamawaf, Hamawata, Hamawat, verse 13, Wadashanawa, Af, Hamazabak, Waparawa, Wapa Rashawa, Ilayawa, Bagad, Aragaman, verse 14, Wanatanawa, Ilawaya, Ilayawa, Af, Kalayawa, Ashar, Yasharathwa, Ilayawa, Baham, Af, Hamakatata, Af, Hamazala Gath, Wa'ata, Haya Ayam, Wa'ata, Hamazarata, Hamazarakwaf, Kal, Kaya, Hamazabak, Wa Parashawa, Ayawa, Kasayawa, Kasawaya, I.W.A., Fa Kasha, Washamawa, verse 15, Wakala, Ram, Wabanyawa, Lakasaf, Af, Hakodash, Wa'atha, Ka, Kaliya, Hakodash, Bana Sa'ai, Hama Kana, Wa Akaria, Kan, Yaboawa, Banya, Kwaha, Lasha'ata, Wala'a, Yaga Aiwa, Allah, Hakodash, Wamathwa, Alaha, Masha'a, Banya, Kwahath, Baha, Mawa'ida. With 16, Wapakwadat, Aliazara, Ban, Aharan, Hakahan, Shaman, Ama'awa, Wakwarat, Asamayim, Wamanakath, Salakia, Mayada, Washaman, Amashahaka, Pakwadat, Kal, Mashakan, Wakal, Ashar, Wawa, Bakodash, Wabakaliyawa. Verse 17, Wayadaba, Yahweh, Al, Salaki Allah, Masha, Wa Allah, Aram, La'ma. Good.
The book of Numbers 4 and verse 11. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, cover it with a covering of badger's skin, and shall put to the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of ministry wherewith they ministered in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering, and shall put them on a bar. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon. And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censer, the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basin, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread upon it a covering of badger's skin, and put to the staves of it. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward, after that the sons of Korath shall come to bear it, but they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to the office of Eleazar the son of Aaron, the priest, pertaineth the oil of the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily meat offering, and the anointed oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, of all that therein is in the sanctuary, and in the vessels thereof. And the Most High spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Cut ye not off the tribe of the families of the Koranites from among the Levites.
And so again, so like here. What was this stuff at? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, so again, this is just giving a full backdrop, a full drop down of what these men had to do, and this was their service and their work in the presence of the Most High. Everything was arranged in an orderly fashion. The men who was the highest ranking men of their families, they were the ones in charge to make sure that that business, that thing was done. And the same process, the same order is done in the I.S.U.P.K and the Command in GEN.YAHANNA, where there's order, there's from troopers or young man coming right up to the generals. Each office has a particular work, each officer has a particular work to do. You understand? Each general has a particular work to do, each captain has a particular work to do, and these men do their work according to what this word says, according to the instruction given down and handed down from each general, captain, officer, trooper, down to the young men. You understand? This is how I.S.U.P.K and the Command in GEN.YAHANNA keep and maintain this structure, this culture, you understand, in these scriptures. And this is how it's done in the I.S.U.P.K and the Command in GEN.YAHANNA. You want to say anything last thing?
Yeah, basically, one other thing to take note from going through this scripture is that you're seeing how much instructions the Most High given to the men of the Lord. How much things he's saying, do it this way, do it that way, do it the other way. Now, in today's society, is the same way as the New Testament say the order does go down from the Most High to Christ, to the men, to the women. So just like the Lord would give instructions, it's the same way that the husbands would also give instructions to the women. And in today's society, women outside of the I.S.U.P.K, we know they do like to follow orders of the husbands at all in terms of how the home is supposed to be run. So when you see that, the men taking instructions from the Most High through Christ, and it's the same thing, the women also have to take note of the scriptures. They also have to take instructions as to how the home is supposed to be run.
Good time, Christ. That brings us to the end of the service. We say, imagine. It's lucky. Sir?
SHALAM to Israel.
Yeah, so imagine when you have down, which means to rise and face the east. Sa, which means to turn. Say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Now, Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash, Yah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Taba'a, Yah, Isha, Barakasa, Kawa, Yah, Shemayim, Matan, Manawa, Malakam, Ka, the one, Masalakno, Awatno, Masalakno, Awatno, Mala'a, Tabayanao, Malasaiwan, Above, our Shino, Yon, Right, Yah, Ka,
See the Lord's Prayer In the English, our Father, which art in
who art in
heaven,
heaven,
hallowed be thy
hallowed be
name.
thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom
thy
come.
kingdom come,
Thy will
thy will
be
be
done
done
in earth
in earth
as it is in
as it
heaven.
is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily
our
bread,
daily bread,
and forgive us
and forgive us
our debts,
as
we forgive our
we
debtors.
forgive our debtors.
And lead us
And
not
lead us not
into
into
temptation,
temptation,
but deliver us from
from
evil.
evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom,
thine is the kingdom,
the power, and the
the
glory,
power and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it. You're going to say the Hakka, the power, Yahweh, Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Barakashah,
Bishah,
Nathan Nawa,
Tanawa,
Hakka, Hakka, the Rapa'ah, Kalma Allah, Wakama the war, Hakka, Rataha, Amata Zarain, Hakka, Bahakayam, Amatayam, Hakka, Iraqawa, Amata Al, Nagarashan, Bahashem, Yahushai, Wadaman.
Yahweh, in the name of
In the name of
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
please give us the
please give us the power,
power to
to heal
all manner of sickness,
all manner of sickness,
and all manner of
all manner of disease,
the power to cleanse the lepers,
power to cleanse the leper,
the power to raise the
power to
dead,
raise the dead,
the power against unclean
power
spirits,
against unclean spirits,
to cast them
to
out.
cast them out.
In the name of
In the name of
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to say these blessings. Barakta Yahweh, why Yahushua, why Micah Al, why Alahaya, Mata Zabia, Alawap Yahanna, Ha Alawapia, Ha Saranya, Ha Katazanya Yam, Ha Kalyanya Yam, Wa Awatia, Yahweh, Wa Hashem, Yahushai, Wala Aman.
You see the blessings in English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh,
And
and
Yahushua.
Yahushai,
And Micah.
and Micah,
And the angels.
and the angels,
Commanding
commanding
General.
General,
Generals.
generals,
The
the
captains.
captains,
Officers.
the officers,
The troopers.
troopers,
The
the
sisters.
sisters,
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua,
Thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Then say, bless Israel, Yahweh, Wa Hashem, Yahushua, Wa Nawa, Wa Yasha'al, Wa Abiyah, Sapari, Wa Ra, Rapa, Magan, Wa Hashem, Yahushua, Yahweh,
Lord.
Lord.
In the name of
In
Yahushua.
the name of Yahushua,
Bless us.
bless us,
And Israel.
and Israel,
And the school.
and the school.
Bless.
Bless,
Heal.
heal,
Shield.
shield,
Protect our loved ones.
protect our loved ones.
In the name of
In
Yahushua.
the name of Yahushua,
Thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew, Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Hariyam, Ayam, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, I am, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratiza, Ayatam, Lamawat, Ragalka, Ayanawam, Shamaka, Anna, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawama, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamaka, Yahweh, Alka, Ayat, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Ashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayara, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamaka, Makara, Yashama, Afnashpaka, Yahweh, Yashama, Tazaahatka, Abawaka, Mayata, Waid, Iwala.
It says Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes
I will lift up my eyes
to the hills.
unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Most
My
High,
help comes from the Most High,
which made heaven and
which
earth.
made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer
He will not suffer
thy foot
thy
to be moved.
foot to be moved.
He that keepeth
He
thee
that keepeth thee
will not
will
slumber.
not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Most High is thy
The
keeper.
Most High is thy keeper.
The Most High is thy
The
shade
Most High is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by
The
day,
sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night,
nor the moon by night.
nor the Most High
Most
shall
High
preserve thee
shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Most High shall preserve thy going
The Most High
out
shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forever.
and even forevermore. You can say Psalm 83 in the Hebrew, Alahayim, Al Demaya Laka, Al Takarash, Al Tashakwa, Al Kayahanna, Al Yabaka, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, I Amaka, Yaira Yawa, Sawada, Wa'aita, Ya'aita Zawa, Aita Zapawanka, Amaro, Lakawa, Wanaya Kadam, Magawia, Wala'a, Yazaka, Shamia Sha'al, Iwada, Kaya, Noa Aitazawa, Zaba, Yakalo, Al-Yakar, Maria, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Waya Shamai Alayam, Mawa'aba, Wahagarayan, Gimbar, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimala, Kalashah, Aim Yashabi, Tazawo, Gam Ashuro, Nalawa, Aima, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya Lawa, Selah, Aishalaham, Hamaya, Asayasara, Hayabyam, Banakal, Payashwam, Nashamalwa, Bayanda Ira, Hayawa, Deman, Laadam, Shayatamwa, Madaya Kawa, Hairad, Wakazaba, Wakanta Zamanai, Kalna Siakamwa, Asha, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Nahawa, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Galgala, Kakwash, Lapanya, Rawaka, Kaash, Taba Ira, Yaira, Taba Salah, Wala Wakalahaba, Talahat, Arayam, Kantara Padakma, Basaraika, Wabasa, Wapaka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Palawan, Wayabakwasho, Shanka, Yahawa, Yabasho, Wayabahawa, Ayai, Wayakaparo, Wayabalo, Wayadaiwa, Kayatha, Shanka, Yahawa, Labadka, Ayawan, Alkaha, Aratiza.
In English, this is Psalms 83. Keep not thy silence,
Keep not thy silence,
O Mosai.
O Mosiah.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O Mosai.
O Mosiah.
For lo,
Thy
enemies
enemies
make it tumult,
make it them up,
and they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
against
thy hidden ones.
thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Said,
Come,
Come,
let us cut them
and let
off
us cut them off
from being a nation,
from being a nation,
that the name of
that
Israel
the name of
be
Israel
no more in
be
remembrance.
no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted
But they have consulted
together
with
with one consent.
one consent.
They are confederate against
They are confederate
the
against
tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
the Ishmaelites,
the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab, the Havarenes,
Nabal,
Gebal,
and Ammon,
Amalek,
the
the
Philistines,
Philistines,
with the inhabitants of
the
Tyre.
inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur is also
Assur
joined
is also
with them.
joined with them.
They are Holcon,
They are Holcon,
the children of Lot,
the children of Lot,
Silah.
Selah.
Do unto them
Do unto them
as unto the
as
Midianites,
unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Kison,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the
They
earth.
became as dung for the earth.
Made their nobles
Made their nobles
like Oreb,
like Oreb
and like Zabi.
and like Zebi.
Yea, all their princes
All their princes
as Zebah
as Zebah,
and as Zoluma,
as Zeluma,
who said, Let us take to
let
ourselves
us take to ourselves
the houses of the Most
the
High
house of the Most High
in possession.
in possession.
O my power,
O my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burneth a
as
wood,
the flame setteth the mountains
as the
on
flame
fire.
setteth the mountains on fire.
So
So persecute them
with thy tempest,
with thy tempest,
and make them
and
afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Most High,
O Most High,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled
and troubled
forever.
forever.
Yea,
Let
them be put to shame
them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men
thou
that
whose
thou,
name
whose name
alone is Yahweh,
alone is Yahweh,
at the Most High,
and the Most High
over all the earth.
over all the earth. Alright, so we're going to see I.S.U.P.K curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you,
King of heaven and
King of
earth,
heaven and
and
earth.
all things living.
All things living.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now,
Listen to us
right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses,
Evils and
and
curses,
punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, the prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the schools. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the schools. Cause their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posikomatazzi, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from casting your words to all the planet earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us. As we speak thy word, cause it to be known by all that it's the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, through the whole world. Cause them to shake as I come in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Sir. When men of Israel give one courtesy salute, Amajam Shabbat, Amajam, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yashai Barakatah. Class dismissed.